Hey guys, Julian Lallo here, and in today's video I'm going to take you through a few tips and techniques on shooting with someone who is either a relatively inexperienced model or someone who's not a model at all and doing their very first photo shoot. So the first tip is a really simple one, and that is to break the ice. When first meeting up with your model, take a couple of minutes to get to know them. Ask them about their day, ask them what they've been up to before the shoot, what they're doing after the shoot. Talk about the weather. It doesn't really matter. Just get to know them, help them relax and settle in. Once you take a few minutes to get to know each other, to relax a little bit, you can then move the conversation onto the photo shoot itself. Let them know how it's going to run, what type of things you're looking for, talk about the styling options, and just really give them a good overall view on the next couple of hours that you're going to be spending together. This is just going to help them, again, really settle in and relax, because the last thing they want to do is roll up already feeling nervous and get straight into the first pose. The second tip is one that is also going to help the model really relax, and that is to come prepared with INSPO. Now, if you haven't already sent them a mood board prior to the photo shoot, which I highly recommend doing, whether that be a PDF document or as a Pinterest board, bring with you on your phone, or if you have your computer with you, bring with you some INSPO. Again, saved images, Pinterest board, it all works. It just helps give the model ideas before the shoot and throughout the shoot that will help them with posing and with the overall general style or look that you're trying to achieve with that photo shoot. So moving into the posing side of things now, I'm not going to deep dive into specific poses with you guys, but what I am going to give you are a few techniques on how to get the model to relax and really find their own posing rhythm. So the first thing I want to touch on is what to do with their hands. Hands can be a really awkward thing, both for the model and for the photographer to pose. So to start off with, give them something to do with their hands, whether it be playing with their garments, putting their hands in and out of their pockets, or even putting something in their hands that suits the style of shoot that you're doing. This can just help them take their mind off one aspect of the posing for a little while. And then once they've got the hang of it, they can incorporate those techniques into different poses, or they can actually start to think about posing their hands once they've got everything else nailed. From here, first thing I'm going to do is get the model to walk. I don't want them to overpose this walk. I want them to walk naturally towards the camera, diagonally across the camera. I want them to look into the camera, over the camera, and back over their shoulder. I want them to walk at their own natural pace. I'm going to fire off a heap of frames, and even though with one walk I may shoot 10, 15, 20 frames, there could be one or two in there that have caught the weight on the front foot and everything is looking really nice and natural. Explain this to them. It's really important to communicate, a point that I'll touch on a bit later. From walking, two other poses that I find really help the model relax and feel comfortable in front of the camera are sitting and leaning. If there is the option to bring in a chair, use a set of stairs, a railing, or even sitting on the floor and leaning back into a wall, these are all ways that help the model feel secure. It's kind of like being out in the open when you're in a really wide open space and you feel quite exposed, by comparison to being in a small, comfortable room, in your lounge room, curled up and comfortable on your couch. The same applies for the model. If they're standing in the middle of an open space and having to think about their stance, their hands, the direction that they're looking, their facial expression, there's a lot going on and they can feel quite exposed. If you're getting them to sit, it can really help them feel cozy and comfortable. As with leaning. Leaning, again, it gives the model that point of contact where they can feel really cozy and comfortable. The next point to help your model pose is to give direction by demonstration. When you've got a million things going on and you're thinking about lighting and camera settings and composition, as a photographer, sometimes it's really hard to verbalize the vision that you see or the pose that you see in your head to your model. So it's easier if you walk up to them, walk up to the position and demonstrate the pose, whether it be leaning, sitting, showing them how to use their hands, where to put their feet, how to shift their weight. As well as saving time and confusion, this is a really quick way to get the best pose out of your model. The last point I want to touch on is something that I briefly mentioned earlier in the video, and that is communication. Make sure you are constantly talking to your model. In addition to direction, reassure them constantly that they're doing a great job. It really helps to show them photos throughout the shoot, show them the back of your screen, scroll through, point out the ones that you really love, Let them know what they're doing really well. It can help boost their confidence and also let them know that you're really happy with the way that the shoot is going. In addition to this, don't leave them standing there in silence. When you're busy adjusting camera settings or rearranging your lighting, let them know what you're doing. Don't leave them standing there in silence wondering if they've done something wrong and that's why you've stopped the photo shoot and you're playing with your camera or lighting. Let them know, hey, I've just got to readjust my settings or I need to adjust this light. Let them know what you're doing and it just helps with their comfort level. So that's it. There's a few tips and techniques on working with someone who's either a relatively inexperienced model or someone who's never modeled before. I hope you got a few things out of it. If you do want a few more insights into more specific posing techniques, I do have some other videos which I will link down in the description. With all that said, thank you for pressing play.